Hey guys, and welcome back to Ray's Trains. Well, we finally have a resolution to the CSX engine that I bought at Allentown. Anyone who's watching my channel has probably seen that video. It got it's almost up to 85,000 views, which is absolutely insane. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch that one before you watch this one. This is where I bought a TMCC locomotive that basically turned out to be gutted. And, you know, a lot of people are saying it's a dummy engine. Obviously not. You saw the box there. So let's talk about it. Okay, so I know a lot of people have been waiting for an update on this. I made that video end of February, I guess. So it's been a couple months and we finally have a resolution. So let's just rewind quick. I'm going to try not to ramble, but this is a long story. And like I said, that video has almost 85,000 views. Obviously people are interested in it. So just bear with me because there's a lot to say here. So I made that video, it exploded, everyone knows. And when you get that many views, you get so many comments. I think over 2,000 comments. It's hard to keep up. And basically there was a comment from a guy who I didn't know. I still don't know him, but I have to give him credit because he kind of brokered this whole thing. And he basically said, hey, the seller's trying to reach out to you about this. But like I said, when you get that many comments on a video, when you get that many views, it can slip through the cracks. And also you don't know how real that could be. You know, I didn't know. So then this guy kept commenting on my subsequent videos. Maybe even like the next two. And then it stands out more. So I talked to my wife and I'm like, hey, I think the seller of this thing's really trying to reach out to me. And she's like, yeah, but we let's not give them our real emails because we don't know. Who knows? This stranger on the internet. So that's when I made my channel email. If you guys ever want to email me, in the channel description, there's a Ray's Trains Gmail account that you can email me at. So we gave it to this guy in the comments. He emailed me. I say us because my wife's really running the email part of it. He reached out and he gave me the email of the seller. So now I have the email of the seller. Okay. I email the seller and say, hey, you know, this is Ray. I bought this engine from you. I don't know if you remember me, blah, 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 blah. I get an email back. He says, hey, this is my fault. He said, now this is the part where I can't speak on, and this is the part where everyone watching this video is going to have their own opinion on it. And Joe from Gersbosky said this was one possibility. These vendors, they might buy huge lots on eBay and they just flip them. They don't even test them. They don't even maybe even open the box to look at them. Whether that's common practice, I don't know. That's not for me to say. You think it would make sense, but he said he didn't get a chance to look at and basically just sold it as is. Okay. I said, okay, well, you know, I said, I'm going to be at York. Are you going to be at York? We're starting to have a correspondence now. He said, yeah, I'm going to be at York. And he then even went as far as to send me, he's like, what are you looking for? I'm going too fast. He said, what are you looking for? I said, I'm not looking for anything special. I said, I'm just looking for a functioning engine comparable to the price I paid for this one. That's all. I just want a working engine that I can have. I'm not even looking for a refund. I just want a working engine. So he then responded to that and was basically, he even included in the email pictures, a whole bunch of pictures of different engines in it. He's like, what are you looking for? TMCC, DCS? You know, it was kind of anything I wanted, basically. And I said, again, listen, I'm not looking for anything special. A modern diesel engine like this one, TMCC. He was also offering DCS. I don't have any MTH engines. I don't have a way to run that right now. So I said, it has to have TMCC. He said, great. He said, I'll see you at York. So now I'm thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. This is all going to work out perfectly. So I kind of gave him a few that I liked. My last correspondence with him was about 3 days before York, 2 or 3 days before York. I told him the days I was going to be there. And I told him, I gave him my phone number. Perfect. Now he said he wasn't getting to the show till Friday as well. So I go to York, have a great first day, not even really thinking about this yet, because I knew I wasn't going to see him on Thursday. So then Friday comes along. I don't hear from him. It's Friday night. There's no email. There's no phone call. There's no nothing. And I'm like, oh no. But I'm still holding out hope. Then Saturday comes. Still hadn't heard from him. Now it's after the YouTube meet and greet on Saturday. Still hadn't heard from him. Now I'm starting to get upset. Now I'm getting upset because I'm like, this guy's ghosting me. I'm being ghosted. He went through all that work and he's going to ghost me? I'm like, this can't be happening. Then it's all running through my head. Like, this is some elaborate troll job now. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I went to Joe. I was very upset. Joe at Gersbowski's. I was even talking to Stu from Metka. They all knew I was upset. And they couldn't believe it either. Because thank God I didn't make a video saying like, yeah, this is going to be resolved. Because I would have looked really stupid on it. So I come home on Saturday. Never heard from him. So now I'm thinking, oh my God, like now I'm going to have to make a video I don't want to make. Like another negative video to say this whole story about how I don't know if it's the actual guy who ghosted me. I don't know if this was never the real guy to begin with and I was being trolled. I had no idea. So now let's just fast forward to Sunday morning. This is the day after York. So my wife wakes me up Sunday morning and she's like, hey, the guy emailed you. He emailed you. I'm like, he emailed me? What could he be saying now? And he said in his email his reasons why. I think he made it at one point, but he didn't have the engine for me, whatever. Everyone has their reasons. I'm very skeptical at this point. But bottom line is, he says, hey, as soon as I get home, I will be home on Tuesday. Give me your address and I will ship the engine to you. And I'm like, oh, great. But me and my wife were like, what? My wife's like, you are not giving our address out to this person. Because I don't know if this is real. I don't know if there's something coming. I don't know anything at this point. This could all be fake. So I called up Joe from Gersbowski's, Joe's so great. He's so nice to me. I was like, listen, Joe, I told him the story. I told him the guy reached out. I was like, can I use your address and have this engine shipped there? I don't want to give out my address. I don't know if this thing's going to be a glitter bomb or what. I don't know what the deal is. Joe said, fine, no problem. So I write Ray, blah, 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 care of Gersbowski's Train Store. I give him this address. He then responds again on Tuesday, and he says, engines shipped, even gave us a FedEx tracking number. So I knew something was coming, because me and my wife looked it up, and sure, there it was. It was already shipped. So I still am skeptical, to be honest with you. So now fast forward to yesterday. It says the package arrives at Gersbowski's. I go to the shop. Joe's got a big box waiting for me. I take it home. I open it up. And lo and behold, he actually sent me the engine. He sent me the engine. I could not believe it. And I won't leave you in suspense because I obviously opened this thing right away and threw it on the track. It works. This thing works. So I'm still in disbelief, honestly, after all that it was made right. It was made right. The guy came through. So I just want to touch on two things here that the viewers, that you guys might be upset at me for here. First thing that you guys, some of you might be upset is that I'm not naming names. And here's why I'm not. When I bought this one and when I made that first video, I didn't even have a name. That's how stupid I was. I didn't grab a business card. I didn't do anything. I basically just said, box this thing up, didn't open it, didn't even look at it. It was laying on top of the box. All I had to do was open the top and we both would have seen what was up with this thing. So I didn't even have a name to give. Now I do have a name. But there's no point in giving it out to me because two reasons. He didn't have to do this. He reached out to me to make this right. He could have not said a word and nothing would have happened because I never gave any names out to begin with. He would have gotten away with it. The only reason for him to reach out was to make it right. And then some of you, the second thing is some of you might say, well, he only did it because you're a YouTuber, because you made this big, huge video. I don't agree with it because again, he didn't have to do it. He could have not said a word. Nothing would have happened to him. He would have continued going to train shows and nothing would have happened. So I'm not going to give out a name. I don't see a need to because I'm going to choose to look at the good in people and he made it right. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. It took a little bit to get there, but we got there. He made me happy. It worked out. It's a happy ending. So, before we get to the new one, let's talk about this. He never mentioned this engine again. He didn't say, yeah, ship it back to me. He never gave me his address. I don't know his address. He didn't say a word about this engine. So, to me, I'm keeping this now. This is also mine. And now the goal is going to be to get this to run because I think that would be good for the channel. I know a lot of you had ideas of what to do with it. Now, I'm not Sid from Sid's Trains. I'm not some Lionel mechanic. I'm not a locomotive mechanic for Lionel. You know, would I do a video on my plans for it? You know, Joe from Gersbowski's has already said his guy can probably get it to run. I'd be willing to put money into this thing now since this engine was basically free at this point. So now that I have this one. So I don't know. But you haven't seen the last of this thing. I'm going to get it to run at some point. But until then, we're going to put it to bed. We're going to focus on the good. We're going to focus on this. And we're going to move on. So let's take a look at this engine, my first Atlas engine. It's very exciting. And I'm happy. So let's take a look at it. All right, so got her out on the track here. This thing is really nice. Like I said, this is my first Atlas engine. Look at the detail here from Atlas underneath. That's incredible. Yeah, that looks so good. We got crew figures. Like I said, this is a Dash 8. I got a little door here, little scuff here, but that's okay. Maybe I'll weather this thing or try to. Yeah, really impressed with Atlas. Like I said, it has TMCC. Dash 8s are really good looking. There's the back, separately applied chain here. That's very nice. Definitely my second nicest engine. The fuel tank looks good. Yeah, the underside detail is what's getting me. I mean, that looks great. A lot of separately applied detailing too. So, what we're gonna do now is I loved my JT's Mega Steam smoke fluid. Worked really great on the Canadian Pacific. So we're gonna, this is the one thing I didn't test yet. I'll put a little bit of that in there. Hopefully the smoke unit works. We're gonna find out. Or I just sprayed that in there for nothing. But it should work. Everything else worked. So let's just talk about running this thing quick. It being TMCC, this one's a little hard for me because it's kind of legacy or Lion Chief for me right now. Because at least with the Lion Chiefs, I have the remotes, and in the Legacy, I have the app to run it. You know, I don't have a Cab 1 yet, but that's coming. I'm definitely, especially now, I'm just going to spend the $130 on getting a Cab 1 remote, because running this thing with just the transformer, it works, but it's a little tricky, and it just doesn't. It would be so much easier to have a remote to run this thing. But like I said, it does work with my CW 80 transformer, but I need a remote. It's time. But for now, you're just gonna have me watch me use the just the transformer. But yeah, I mean, what a nice happy ending. I'm really ecstatic. And just one more thing, because I didn't say it how I wanted in the end of that last part of that video. You know, the reason I'm not giving a name, the main reason is there was a lot of, when you get 80,000 views, I don't want anyone to get internet hate. Internet hate is not a good thing. It's rough. And even at the show, I met a lot of people who said, like, my video made them angry. And it made me angry too, what happened. But, you know, I don't want this guy who did the right thing, sent this to me, was nice. I don't want him to get any hate at all from people. So that's my real reason for not giving out any names. But yeah, anyway, enough of that. Let me throw this on my layout, and we'll run this thing around a little bit. All right, guys, let's power this big boy up, see what happens. Oh, whistle works. Does the bell work? Bell, All right, let's see. Let's get her to move. Maybe I can get the bell going when she's running. All right, we got the bell to work. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Everything seemed to be working for the most part. The only thing was there was no smoke, but there's a smoke switch under the front trucks, and I had it off, so I turned it on. And then it still wasn't smoking, but then I read here with these Atlas engines, it says 35 to 40 drops. The Lionel one was only like 10. So I didn't put enough smoke fluid in it. And so I'll do that later. I'll add more later and make sure it works, but it should. So I'm happy. Like I said, it's kind of tough to run this thing with this transformer. So I'll get a cab one soon. So yeah, I'm happy to be putting this to bed. We can all move on now. And I got a working engine. It's a really nice one. My first Atlas locomotive. Hopefully not the last. So that's it. And I want to say thanks for watching. And I will see you guys on the next one. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe.